But Nassau rock and Nassau roll. Nassau's got a whole lot of soul. Feel alright. We got mini skirts, tight blue jeans, and braided hairdos. People doing their own thing, don't care about me or you. Nassau's gone funky. Nassau.
Very much.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Ladera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this overcast Monday afternoon. Those of you who are watching by way of YouTube or Facebook, there's nothing wrong with your system. Well, you can't see me. I can't figure this out, but for some reason, this is not recognizing my camera today. So while we work on that, you can obviously see this handsome fella sitting next to me. Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson is back in the studio. And we are going to be doing a master class on the Constitution of the Bahamas. Professor, welcome back.
Well, good afternoon, Bahamas and Ms. Malcolm. It's good to be here on this beautiful Monday. It's overcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to a good show today.
Yes.
And I do hope that the Bahamian people will put into practice what they're learning from these shows, because we have some very serious problems in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And it is most important that the Bahamian people understand what it is they can do to bring change in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. There are many, many things that need changing, but we got to deal with the most pressing, the most important issues that affect the Bahamian people. And I must say one of the most important issues is the Constitution. The fact that Bahamians do not know that Constitution has contributed to a lot of misunderstanding about law. Bahamians do not know right as opposed to wrong constitutionally. Statute laws, you got many of them, and the Bahamian people are not even knowledgeable about those statute laws. You got a whole army of them. And I noticed in the various communities, the way how people behave, the way how they conduct themselves, they lack knowledge and understanding. But we're dealing with the Constitution, which is the supreme law. And anything that goes contrary to that Constitution, I heard some people talking about policy and procedure and all those other things, and who did this in the past and who did that in the past. That's not a standard for righteousness. I always ask the question, is it constitutionally sound? Yes or no? For every question you ask about the Constitution, there is a constitutional answer. And it is time that Bahamian people begin to understand this most important document so that people can get their act together to bring the kind of changes that are essential to move us forward. This being our 51st year, we passed 50. A lot of celebrations. People ask, well, what have we achieved? Well, you could go back and look at the record and see for yourself. The point is, Bahamians, there are many things that need to be dealt with. Now, I'm not going to cram all that down at one time. Let's deal with the most important issue, the Constitution. Once you can get basic, fundamental understanding of constitutional law, you got to be a professor like me now. I asking you to do that. But when you listen to these shows, you're going to get simple, basic, fundamental, sound, constitutional answers that are 100% accurate and precise. I take my work very seriously. People ask me everywhere I go, they ask me all kinds of constitutional questions, which tells me that many people are interested in the Constitution. It's a wonderful thing. Since Her Majesty the Queen died and Prince Charles ascended the throne, that's wonderful. That's good. I'm going to say to the Bahamian people, please keep the pressure up. It's going to help you. It's going to help me. It'll give me a lot of work to do, but that's fine. I waited 50 years, you know. Mm-hmm. You can't keep me waiting for another 50. So this is our 51st year, and I am so delighted that the Bahamian people are taking an active interest in the Constitution. So keep listening to the show on Mondays. You'll be here every Monday from 2 to 4. Welcome. And you will get solid information that you could work with, you and your neighbors, your community, etc. And things you're not certain of, you can always get me and we can work it out.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, I still can't figure out why our YouTube and Facebook audience is not seeing me, but at least I was able to get the global 99.5 FM logo up. So, guys, you may have to we may have to go through this entire show without y'all actually able to see me, but at least hopefully there's no challenges with the audio. You'll at least be able to hear me until we figure out what is going on with my camera. Okay, so in the meantime, let's throw out the telephone contacts and information for those who wish to ask a question or have something clarified. The telephone numbers to call 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live to Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm or Global 99.5 FM pages. And we're also streaming live on YouTube. And you can find us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. Of course, we are coming to you with the Global 99.5 FM app that you can download to your smart device and check us out that way. And then there's radio here in New Providence, 99.5 FM on your dial. And a huge welcome to you all, whether you are in New Providence or Grand Bahama or the Family Islands or from anywhere outside the country. You know, Mondays are becoming a very popular show because people are expressing their gratitude for the work that we're doing here on Mondays. Because unfortunately, Professor, as you well know, most people had no idea what was contained in our Constitution.
That is correct. Most
Mhm.
people did not know. And I'm not going to blame them for not knowing. It's just that they've never been taught.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we recognize that as a fact. And so what we have to do is we have to work on it. And the sooner you get to know and have solid information that is accurate and precise, and you got to be careful who you're getting it from now, because there's a lot of misinformation. Let me explain this to the Bahamian people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of misinformation out there about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And people trying to build a country, but they have no solid foundation. They're talking about building a nation. And yet, what is your foundation for building a nation? The only foundation that is secure is your Constitution. You have people who come up with different plans, this plan, that plan, the next plan. Is the plan constitutionally sound? We have what is called the National Development Plan, whereby political parties got around the table and they decided this is what they would like to do. But political parties, when they come to power, do not go by that, what they agreed to go by. So I'm going to say we need to examine these things and ask ourselves, is it constitutionally sound? The only sound document you have for running this country is the Constitution. When you move away from that, you are asking for trouble. A party can present a plan. It's just a collection of ideas that some people came up with. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that because the Constitution allows for people to impart ideas and opinions without interference. So we won't interfere with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, what is it that we need to build the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Now, when you talk about the Constitution, that's a whole kettle of fish altogether. We need solid, accurate, precise information, and that's what the Constitution is for, to show you how the government of the Bahamas have to function. I heard some people talking about latitude. The minister has latitude to do this and latitude to do that. And I asked myself, where did that come from? Is that constitutionally sound? You cannot have persons in your administration running your country, making up rules that satisfy them, but it has no constitutional basis. Bahamians, please watch out for that, because I see now that's creeping in, and I'm going to examine that very carefully. You have some new laws being passed about crime. I thought we were supposed to be dealing with crime for the last 50 years, but apparently we still have some things that are not yet covered. We need to create some more laws. But if you teach people constitutional law and you teach them statute law, that will bring down criminal activity because you will be teaching people how to behave themselves. Let me give you a simple example. A national commitment to discipline, self-discipline. If we can teach that nationwide, that's just one aspect of nation building, to the Bahamian people, we won't have all of this. See, the woman got knocked down on Wolf Road, died. The man got knocked down on Andrews Avenue and East Street. He's in serious condition. His 2 hit and runs. One died, one still living. But he's in serious condition. These are the kind of things that are happening frequently, and sexual offenses that seem to be taking the order of the day every day.
Yeah.
Some people or some children being affected, some women being affected. So we have a lawless society. We need to teach self-discipline. to our people. The Constitution says that's one of the things we ought to build our nation on, a national commitment, which simply means the government of the Bahamas has a responsibility to get that information across to the Bahamian people, to teach them how to have self-discipline. Of course, the government itself has to have it. If the government doesn't have it, then the people won't have it. But we lack self-discipline in this country. As far as I know, and I was there from the beginning, I have never seen any administration in this country teach nationally a national commitment to self-discipline, because our people are out of order. People run the red lights, they knock people down, throw garbage in people's yard, curse at you, carry on bad, and you cannot get the authorities to assist you when you have a complaint. The fellow too busy, like they told me, I'm disturbing him from his work. But I will deal with that very considerately. But the thing is that we have a lack of self-discipline in our country. We have to fix that. This is year 51. We have to fix it. That's just one out of many now. I don't want to go to all the others. That will take a lot of time. But that one, lack of self-discipline, we had to have a national commitment. Had we been doing that from July the 10th, 1973, it would not be a problem today.
So let me ask you this, Professor, because more and more we're seeing where our lawmakers are leaning towards these acts that aren't necessarily in agreement with the Constitution, and they're using those acts to say that they are within the law by making certain decisions based on the powers that have been vested in them by virtue of the acts. One key example is the Bahamas Nationality Act, which is what we've been focusing on for the past several weeks now in comparison with the Constitution.
Yes.
So in a situation like this, where we know that what is being done is in contravention to what the Constitution clearly says should be the way that we handle this, what can we do to stop this from happening? Do we have to take the route that was taken, that we have to have a lawyer take this all the way to the Privy Council for the Privy Council to tell us what we already know?
Yes.
Follow the law that you have. Don't bring me no other act. Look at your Constitution, follow the Constitution. But that's pretty much all the Privy Council said as it related to the situation with single Bahamian men who had children within the Bahamas with foreign women being able to pass on their citizenship.
Yes.
So all the Privy Council did was say, look, man, you got this Constitution, follow it.
Yes.
Don't come to me with no other act, because some other things don't mean nothing to me. We see what your Constitution says, follow the Constitution. But yet, our lawmakers continue to make decisions and have their actions governed by these many acts that are, in some cases, directly opposed to what the Constitution says.
Yes, ma'am.
So do we have to, as a collective, take some kind of legal action to go all the way to the Privy Council before we can get this corrected? Is that our only recourse?
No, it's not. It's one. We're working on that one now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only one. In fact, there are a number of things. And it's an excellent question that you asked. And let me see if I could explain it in simple language. Because the Constitution answers it,
Mm-hmm.
Tells you plainly in Article 2. Any other law as inconsistent with this Constitution shall prevail. And the other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, shall be null and void.
Mm-hmm.
Here you have an administration that is not acting constitutionally. It's an elected administration. It has taken for granted the will of the Bahamian people as spelled out in the Constitution. Now, there are a number of things we can do. I always refer to Article 24.1,
Mhm.
where that last phrase in that article, where the Bahamian people are to organize themselves for the protection of their interests. You don't leave it up to a government. You don't leave it up to a representative. You don't leave it up to a cabinet. You don't leave it up to parliament. No. This is something the Bahamian people will have to take action against that administration in power. One way is, yes, through the Privy Council, which we're doing. We're working on that. The thing is that there are other options too that you have. That's only one.
Mhm.
Bahamians, you need to start thinking. Are you interested in protecting your interests? Yes or no?
Mhm.
Do you want to keep sitting down day after day, allowing the current administration to continue in this wickedness that they are doing, simply having these acts, as they call them, which they passed in the House of Assembly, and there are any number of them that they have passed, which are unconstitutional. This one that we're dealing with now, that is highly unconstitutional. But the point is, the Bahamian people have to put pressure on their representative. That's number one.
Mhm.
Number two, the Bahamian people have to put pressure on the government of the Bahamas. They ain't feeling no pressure, you know. We have never, as Bahamians, put hell on the government of the Bahamas. They've had it easy sailing for 50 years. So they take us for granted. So we're going to have to show them by our actions, our contrary actions to what they're doing, we are not going to tolerate the foolishness you're doing. That's what we're going to have to do. Now, I'm not saying that people have to do what others are doing in other countries.
Mhm.
If we look at our Constitution, there's so much power in it for the Bahamian people to take any number of positive, constructive activities that would be beneficial to this country,
Mhm.
but detrimental to the government. Notice what I said. Positive action for the country, detrimental to the government. Because you see, you can't have an administration knocking around doing foolishness.
Mhm.
The more we tolerate it, the worse the country will get. The less we tolerate, and we tell them, listen, we ain't letting you go another day for you. It means we're going to have men and women who are prepared to stand up. See, I stood up and I challenged the minister. I told him, he's man, come. Show me from the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas where this authority you claim you got.
Mhm.
Now, I know he could never do that because I know the Constitution. Now, if he comes up with something else, I'll say, so, but that's not constitutional. That can't work. The Prime Minister's already went on record as saying he did nothing wrong, which was not a wise thing to say, but he done said it.
You're talking about this whole situation with Bell?
Yes.
Boy.
Now, he has put himself in a fix. Now he's talking about investigations. I think it's a stalling tactic because someone asked me about it no longer than today. What is it that Mr. Davis needs to do? The quality of attorney that he's supposed to be. Having been a deputy prime minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas,
Mhm.
okay? An experienced attorney. And you can talk about investigating. Investigating what? And for what purpose? The law is the law. Is it constitutionally sound? Yes or no? But he doesn't say the man did nothing wrong.
Well, in this particular situation, it seems things keep coming out.
Well, things will keep coming out because a lot of things have happened under the rug, which we can get some more out from under the rug. A lot of things will keep coming out because you can't keep covering up dirt. It's going to get so big and so high, you can't cover it no more. It will expose itself. The Bahamian people have every available opportunity, and I think we need to take advantage of it, to do some things, to say to the government of the Bahamas, not to just say to them, but do something.
Mhm.
There are some positive things we can do. to strengthen the country.
Right.
But don't allow them to keep day in and day out doing foolishness. And all we do is say we're waiting for an election. You got to wait for no election. You show me in the Constitution where it tells me and you that we have to wait while the government's doing foolishness. That doesn't make any sense. That means the man could cut my neck off today and I could stop him, but I say, boy, let him cut it off. I'm waiting for the election. It's a stupid, foolish thing to say. But Bahamians, we should have better sense than that.
But for the record, you're not trying to suggest any kind of coup or anything like that. Let's just be clear now.
I'm going to be crystal clear.
Please do.
I'm going to be crystal clear. And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Because, you know, some of our people are special.
Oh, that's all right.
And one of the things that we can pride ourselves in this country is that we don't overthrow governments in the manner in which many other nations do, where, you know, you got these military coups and, you know, this one, we ain't trying to go down that road.
Let's put it this way. And I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm saying to the Bahamian people, we have an incredible record that perhaps no other country on the planet has.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 300 years of uninterrupted parliamentary democracy.
Right. And we ain't trying to change that.
No. Look what's happening in Niger. I think they pronounce it a little differently, Niger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Nigeria, but it's a country in Niger, in Africa, where the government has been overthrown. The democratically elected government has been in for several months now.
Mm-hmm.
The government has been overthrown. They got about 1,000 U.S. troops over there.
Right.
And the thing is that violence is now breaking out in that country.
Mm-hmm.
Mali has had problems, and some other neighboring countries, Chad and all of them. And my sister told me of another one, I believe, that is having a problem. She just mentioned it to me before I came to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to you, Bahamians, we have an incredible record. In spite of our problems, in spite of the fact that we've been choosing the wrong set of people to run our national affairs. That's what we've been doing for the last 50 years.
Mm.
We have made very bad choices, but yet we've been able to maintain a strong semblance of democracy, even better than that of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened over there in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying to the Bahamian people, we have something that we can hold up to the world. We have something that we can use to change our country in a very peaceful but forceful and strong way so that we can move the country ahead. Do not allow the current administration to stop, because they can't stop nobody. Only a couple of people. When the tide of the people moves against them, what the hell they could do? Nothing. I'm saying to the Bahamian people, one, you need to be united. Now, say you're not united on the ground. I know that for a fact. Article 24.1, that last phrase, you're not nowhere near that. You're listening to me every Monday and Miss Malcolm on her show, which is good. I appreciate that. But I know, because I am on the ground myself, and I check the ground. And you can't fool a veteran like me.
Mm-hmm.
I know the feel of the Bahamian people. You are not organized. You're not ready for action.
I want to read something to you that somebody sent via WhatsApp. It says, "Good day. Your guest talking trash. We have no other option of changing government until the PM decides to call a general election. Tell us what we can do to change a government."
Let me put it this way. You say we don't have no option. Then you ask me, what can you do to change the government? And then you're also saying only the prime minister could change it. That's wrong. The prime minister has it in his purview to call an election. He could call it early, he could call it later.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one person. That's not the only option. You put the necessary pressure in the right places, you'll get the kind of result that we need. We keep looking at these personalities who are doing us in, instead of looking at what it is our Constitution says. You don't say a talking trash, so that's your view. That's fine. I ain't got no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to tell the Bahamian people better. But you got to prove from the Constitution that Professor Thompson is wrong. The Constitution gives the Bahamian people the authority to change anything at any time at their discretion. You don't have to wait for the Prime Minister. You don't have to wait for the Cabinet. You don't have to wait for any of them. That's not in the Constitution. You gave them the power that they have. You didn't tell me you're scared of them. All of a sudden, they become bigger than you. You have the power to give. You have the power to take.
Okay, we have to take a break, but I see there's a comment coming in from somebody by the name of Howard Johnston on Facebook.
Yes.
And their question is, what's the option, how to do it? So let's stick a
I'll
pin in
answer
that.
when you come back.
Yeah, let's have you answer specifically.
Specifically, yes.
Yes.
I give him a constitutional answer. That's
Okay.
what he can get.
All right.
Yes.
That's on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS on Glow 99.5 FM.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin, mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Thank God it's a little overcast, which means that it's not as hot as it has been over the past several days. Temperature's a little cooler, and thank God for his mercies. All right, so how do you get in to be a part of the show? 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page, as well as the official Global 99.5 FM page, also streaming live to YouTube. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. Download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smartphone or device. Check us out there. And last but by no means least is our radio audience. Yeah. You can tune in to Global 99.5 FM here in New Providence, or tune in by way of radio in Grand Bahama, or all of you who are listening from around the country, and those of you who are outside the country tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I see somebody sending a message from Canada saying that you guys can see us in Canada. All right, so Professor, that last statement, you causing all kind of people to get a little excited. So let me read a couple of these messages for you.
Yeah, okay.
These ones are coming in by way of WhatsApp. It says, I have asked the exact question that the WhatsApp messenger asked. If we are not to use force and violence, and only the PM can call an election, what is the professor telling us to do? What do we do specifically? If the professor has his finger on the pulse of the people, what can we do today? Now, let me read some more, because that's not the only one. This next one says, he's still not answering the question. We march, protests, etc. What changes did that change? Okay. And then we have a message coming in by way of our Facebook. And this says, that caller is a clown. Sir Sidney has answered the question numerous times. If he or she feels that Sir Sidney is talking trash, they need not ask him what can be done, because they seem to be closed-minded or just plain stupid. And then we have another one that came in just a moment ago on WhatsApp. It says, Bahamians are still not getting it. To change the way things are, it will cost them nothing. They only have to walk they only have to walk out their doors and into the streets and protest peacefully. Okay, Professor, we've heard all of that. From the Constitution.
Yes, that's where you always must start.
Right. What is the option? What can Bahamian people do?
Okay, good. I'm glad you asked that. And I heard the views of the people. And let me just say, the Constitution allows people to express their views. The views don't have to be based on anything. It can be nothing at all, nothing of substance. But the Constitution says you can have that right to express your views. So I'm not going to knock anyone for expressing how they feel. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I'm going to show you from the Constitution what it is we can do. And there are any number of things we can do to improve the conditions of the country. Now, the things that have happened in the past, you talk about We March and the demonstration that happened recently, a couple of people are on Bay Street with some placards. I simply said, when I saw that, Are we asking the people what it is they want to do? Obviously, you don't want to do that. So why should we participate in it? You show no interest in it. You should have had 50,000 out there the other day, but you had probably less than 500 if you had that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying to you, the Bahamian people have to start thinking what it is you can do. Obviously, the things that you've been working on in the past, they have no effect. The marches have had no effect.
Mm-hmm.
The demonstrations have had no effect. So what is it that you want to do? The Bahamian people have to answer that. I cannot answer that for them. But I can show them what the Constitution says in Article 24.1, and that's the only thing you have in your Constitution, which guarantees you the right to organize yourselves for the protection of your interests. Now, are you serious about changes in this country? Well, then it can be proven by action. If you're not serious, you're going to be lazy and do nothing and keep complaining all the time on the airwaves about this one and that one, the next one, what they should do from what they shouldn't do. That's a waste of time. But let me get right to the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. I know the Constitution says we're divided into 38 or more constituencies, not less than 38.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's 39.
Mm-hmm.
That's constitutional. So the country is divided into 39 constituencies. Bahamians, if we're going to see change, we got to do it constituency by constituency by constituency. That's constitutional. The point is the people in a given constituency, because we got all kinds of problems in these constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we're sitting back and expecting one particular personality to do it for them. When they are there, they see what's happening on the ground, or maybe their eyes are closed, they can't see. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest to the Bahamian people. Too many of you, as I've seen in too many areas, you get too personal with one another. You get into people's private, personal affairs. That's why people don't trust you. They can't trust you because you talk people's business too much. That is a common problem that has divided communities, that has divided families. We run our trap too much. You know how many people over the last 50 years have told me all kinds of things? I can't talk it. Once they say it to me, I can't discuss that even with family members, even with personal close friends. I have to go home and ask God to help me to forget it. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest you do. You live on the street. Come out of your house, talk to the person right next door to you. Get to know that family. Do not get in their personal affairs. But there are some things that are common to all of you on that street. Maybe street lighting, maybe holes in the road. You got plenty of them all over the place. Water running all over the place. Other things that affect the children, other things that affect the adults. Overhanging of trees that keep blocking the light, and you do nothing about it. You just sit and complain. I'm saying to you, get to know the person on your street. Talk to them. You don't have to get personal. Ain't no time for that foolishness. Then when you finish talking to people on your street, you encourage them others to do the same thing. Get to know the neighbors in your area.
Mm-hmm.
This person-to-person contact, I've been doing it for more than half a century. It works. You build good relationships, Bahamians. That's what you have to do.
And then what? And then what?
Hold on. Let me give it to them one at a time. See,
okay.
They ask a question.
You're breaking it down.
I'm breaking it down so they can understand. Just like you go to St. Barnabas Church, right?
Mm.
You go on Sunday morning. You don't go there Tuesday morning. You got to go to BTC. You don't get mixed up on that. So I'm saying to you, you need to know the people in your area. You have to be familiar with them. You communicate with them. You can discuss issues with them that affect all of you on that street. Then go around the other street, talk to them people too, and let them come around and talk to people on your street. So once you start doing that, you're building a relationship with your local constituent. See all the people in my area where I live in Baldwin Castle? I talk to all of them. And they have the highest respect for me. I don't get into their personal affairs.
Right.
I don't do that. Now, a lot of them tell me some things which I can't discuss, but all I'm simply saying is you try to build peace with the people, man. I am saying right now, as I see it, and I'm a veteran at this, 50 years plus, the Bahamian people are not ready for any serious action against the government of the Bahamas. You're ready for that.
But I think what people are saying, Professor, is okay, we hear you. Come together as a community for the issues that are common to you. And then what?
You have to be organized. You got to let me explain myself, Ms. Malcolm.
Well, we have a call on the line. So let's go to the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm, and to your guest.
Good afternoon.
Always a pleasure listening.
Good afternoon.
And on Masterclass Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a comment concerning, listening to you and us as a people needing to be more informed on the Constitution of our country. This really begins from childhood. And until we have a good look at our curriculum, our social studies curriculum, if you can call it that, and we implement ways and means of teaching our children what the Constitution is from a very, very young age, and having an understanding of the importance of that document, and just moving into high school and into adulthood so that we can have an ingrained appreciation of it, because those who we elect depend on our daftness of not understanding these things.
Yes, ma'am.
And the more informed we are, the more we understand this document, the more ready we can be to bring the kind of change that we need to bring to our country. Because our value system would even change if we are fully aware of what it takes to operate this country. And we have those in power who depend on us to say, the government needs to do this and the government needs to do that, because we aren't informed, we aren't educated on these things, realizing that we are the government. It's because of us we placed you there. That's why you have that position. Yes. And until we come to understand what the Constitution is and the power that reigns within that, we won't have these clowns in our government doing what they do, behaving with this, the way they behave, setting such poor examples for the Bahamian public, and the ill discipline that Mr. Sidney Thompson, I think that's the name, spoke of. It comes from there. Comes from there, because if you behave a certain way, that's what our people are seeing, that lack of self-discipline. The other day when we had that screaming match between Pintard and Wilchcombe and the speakers out there, it was just shameful, And so all that goes back to us being educated and informed as a people when we go to to elect these persons, and that would instill a level of fear within them, knowing that we are aware and we are educated as a people from the ground up. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for calling.
Let me just comment with it. She hit the nail right on the head.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could get 150,000 like her. Then all this crap what you see happening would be history. All I'm saying is she hit the nail right on the head. That's what people need to understand. We've been fooling around for more than half a century since majority rule and allowing the government of the Bahamas to do foolishness and nonsense. And here it is over 50 years later, all of a sudden you snap your finger and it's over. It doesn't work that way. We have to understand you have to build relationships. It took me more than 50 years to get where I am now in building relationships with people. So you're going to find in a community where people are so squabbly and they're rowing all the time and fighting all the time and disrespecting one another all the time. How do you expect them to change as soon as you snap your finger? Instant change. It doesn't work that way. It takes hard work. It takes discipline. It takes character. She hit the nail right on the head. Thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate that.
We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Madam Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Brother Professor.
Hey, That's Dr. T.
Yes, this is me.
Uh-huh.
Before I get to you, I must salute a special person that I have found now that we are becoming very civil. And I believe wisdom do come with age. I'm on the borderline of 70. 5 beautiful, handsome, and pretty grandchildren. And this person have finished 60. So when you reach that age, and God has allowed us, I guess the only thing you can do is be civil. And that person is Michelle Malcolm. For the last few times I call her show, now persons out there in the radio audience, please don't twist this. I've known Madam Michelle from her uncle teaching, the great Duke Smith. I remember her now. So you all will understand the structure and the teaching of the Bible. So this is why sometimes I make her sweat or make her tired, because we both come under that same teaching. Also Dr. Miles Monroe. But the few times I've called now, I recognize that we have become civil in our discussion, and I want to salute her for that. I believe the age have a lot to do with that, and wisdom is setting in, and we now can have a good conversation. So I want to thank her for that and salute her, that we can have a civil conversation. Having said that, I'll move on. Professor?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how I want to say it, but your passion, the Constitution, my passion is the family. Professor, sometimes I want to scream and cry. And I don't have to hide it. I have 5 beautiful grandchildren, a beautiful son-in-law who allow me to play a part in their lives. We have a relationship, and they are doing fine. But Professor, as you educate this nation on the Constitution, no one can do it better than you can. I am of the belief that the late Bob Marley sang a song, "Emancipate Your Mind from Mental Slavery." Professor, I don't know, and I am not sure that the politicians want us to emancipate our mind from mental slavery. I've been an entrepreneur for more than 40 years, and I thank God for my father and my parents, because I didn't have to suck up, kiss up, or bark like a dog to get a slice of bread. Because I don't know if I can play the role of a political prostitute. God knows it. I can't play that role. My father will come out of his grave. But Professor, I support you, but that spirit of greed, when one gonna throw a couple dollars at you and make you a consultant when you're not qualified to become one, that's to distract you from the issue at hand. And I agree with you, until we understand this spirit and this system who want to enslave you, and until we understand we need to emancipate our mind. Professor, I have 3 concerns right now. I am not going to disclose it on the radio, but I would like for you to call me personally. Professor, I see a storm. The values that this country was once built on, Professor, I am ready to fight. Three of those values I am very much concerned. Call me off air if you have my number. I would like to discuss this with you off air, Professor. Sir Lyndon said, if Bahamians are not prepared to fight for this beautiful country called the Bahamas, we don't deserve to have it. Brother, let me say this to you. And they can take it how they want to. My father tell me this, and my father always tell me this. And I'll tell you what my mother tell me. My father say, boy, I love you like a son. You are my firstborn. But I will switch it. Professor, I love you like a brother. A brother from another mother. Sister Michelle, I love you like a sister. A sister from another mother. I don't know how long I will be around. But if we're not prepared to fight, we don't deserve to have it. Thanks for listening to me. God bless you all.
All right, Dr. P. Thanks for the kind words. We got to take a break. On the other side of the break, I want us to continue what we had started. Because people are still saying, yeah, but he still ain't saying what to do. So
I think they need to listen.
So the question is, after you come together and you get to know your common interests.
If they just listen and let me explain.
Well, let's take this break.
In simple, basic language.
Yeah.
It will become clear.
Let's take a break. And then on the other side, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that.
Yes,
this is GPS. Stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after
Your
this.
body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global Radio, 99.5 FM on the dial. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. My guest today is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson as we continue this series on the Constitution of the Bahamas. Here are the numbers to call in case you'd like to ask a question or make a comment. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line that you can use for either a text message or a call is 8010271, 8010271. You can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there. And of course, we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook to the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can check us out on channel 974 in Cable Bahamas. And last but not least, you can tune in by way of radio. And a huge shout out to our audience, whether you're listening via New Providence or Grand Bahama or the Family Islands, or if you are tuned in from outside the Bahamas, welcome, welcome, welcome. So every Monday we do a masterclass on the Constitution of the Bahamas with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. And we are talking about what Bahamians can do.
Yes.
To
bring change.
Yeah.
To the many issues that affect the Bahamian people. Because let me just say this. Can I go on now?
Well, let me just read one comment.
Go ahead. Yeah,
and then you can go ahead and Bertha says this microwave generation waiting every 5 years to see which party would buy them a fridge and stove to get their vote. The people who are the government needs to get serious and the people who are the government need to get serious and want to see the country move forward. Another person says they are not listening. And then we have a message or two coming in by way of WhatsApp. Let's see. This one says, we appreciate the Professor Michelle, but when the students are asking the teacher to show us how to get from A to G, we expect them to tell us or show us in the elementary terms like Dr. Monroe would and repeat it as many times as needed as Dr. Monroe did. Thank you. Okay. I'll give you the floor, Professor.
Okay, good. Some things need to be repeating. I must say that the person who sent in that text, some things need to be repeating. I don't have a problem repeating them because people just don't know. For example, we have already seen the demonstrations not working.
Mm-hmm.
The We March didn't work. What they had on Bay Street the other day didn't work. The question has to be asked, what is it, Bahamians, you want to do? You haven't told us. You haven't said anything. You're sitting in your communities. You're sitting in your houses. You're listening on radio. What is it that you want to do to bring change?
Okay, so
now
let's say the answer to that is, let's zone in on one particular issue that's been getting a lot of attention as of late. Let's look at this immigration issue.
Yes.
So let's say the answer to that question is, we want them to stop following the Nationality Act and follow only what is said in the Constitution as relates to the granting of citizenship in the country. So we've come together, we've determined that this is what we as a collective want. Now what?
What has to happen is that you're going to have to put pressure on the government of the Bahamas and your parliamentarians as far as this matter is concerned. They're running your country. Now, if the government doesn't listen, see, just like God says in his word, if you walk contrary to me, then I can walk contrary to you. There's going to have to come a time, Bahamians, when you have to defy a government that is acting contrary to the Constitution. Do you know that? You can do that, you know.
Define what that means.
Defy means that they're not listening to you, you're not listening to them. It's just as simple as that.
I need you to be very, very clear. Because, Professor, we got some special people living in this town. Okay? So they will hear something like that and they will use that as an excuse to say, well, the professors say we need to not listen to the government, so I ain't listening to them as it relates to this law or that law because they ain't listening to me. We got some special people in this town, Professor.
I hear that.
Be specific. How you're calling for civil disobedience.
I'm saying to you that there are things that the government of the Bahamas is doing, and we know they're doing it. No ifs, no ands, no buts.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a specific issue about the matter of immigration, citizenship in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That is a major problem. The question has to be asked, what is it that the Bahamian people are prepared to do with that government, with those representatives in that House, with those people that sit in that Senate? What are you prepared to do with them since they are defying the Constitution? Put on your thinking caps and start thinking, Bahamians. We must have some intelligent people out there who've been to school, who were educated. And you mean to tell me we don't have any intelligent people out there? No people with wisdom, no people with understanding? And all we do is just sit and accept a crap from the government of the day? Is that what we're going to do? Famous, we have to do better than that. We can't just keep sitting in the dark and waiting for one or two persons to do something. It doesn't work that way. That's why I quoted Article 24.1, the last phrase, which you have overlooked for more than half a century. What does that say? The people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it takes the collective will of a people to deal with this issue. And they have to be unified as one entity. And the only entity that can unify them is the Constitution. They have to have that will, that desire to see change, not just say you want it. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you must allow the government to continue acting contrary to the Constitution. What kind of nonsense is that? Is that the way you want your country to run? You don't want to do anything about persons who are acting contrary to the Constitution? Is that what you're telling me today? I hope that's not what I'm
But step by step, what do they do? That's what people are asking.
I am answering the question, Ms. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you will allow me to answer the question,
Go ahead.
I started to answer the question.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I am saying to the people, you need to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. On the ground.
Right.
Constituency after constituency. That's in your Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution says 38, not less than 38 constituency. There could be more.
Mm-hmm.
But we got 39 now. All right? And I'm saying to you, for change to occur, you need to be organized constitutionally. We're not yet that way. We're so divisive on the ground with some other funny things. We're not looking at these big, hefty national issues that are striking us and slamming us all over the head by a government that fails to act in our best interest. So what do?
Mm-hmm.
We just sit back and allow it to happen? It's time for the Bahamian people to be highly organized. That's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, what did I say when I first started out? Come out of your house, talk to the person right next door to you.
Right.
Then go down the corner and talk to all of those people on that same side of the street where you are. Get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
Have we done that? Are we doing that? Or are we busybody in other people's private, personal affairs?
So let's say that they have done that. I'm not saying that they have, but let's say that that has been done.
That's the first step, Ms.
Right.
Walker.
That's
it's
the
getting
first step.
to know one another. You see, in order to show yourself friendly, you got to be friendly, you know.
Right.
But if you ain't friendly, it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about something that worked for more than half a century. And I know it works.
Mm-hmm.
It never failed me yet. I am saying to you, you have to build that relationship with each other on the ground in the community where you live. Do we understand that? Let's say, okay, we did all of that. Then the people have to discuss what it is that they would like to see happen. Because it takes the collective will of a people. It's not a one-person thing. There are people with great ideas out there. But all we're doing is hearing on the radio this thing, that thing, the next thing, people throwing out all kinds of ideas. But we're not formulating anything. We're not coming together, putting it and codifying it and say, this is the course of action we're prepared to take on the matter of immigration and citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one you threw out there. Let's work on that one day.
We have a call on the line. Let's go to the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
How you doing, Michelle Malcolm?
I'm good. How are you?
Everything blessed. I'm the professor. How you doing,
I'm
Professor?
doing well. Thank you.
I'd like to just throw something out there for anybody like aware to me on what's going on, because my eyes just more open on something. I was watching Mr. Bean them go around to these islands. Do you realize how far these shanty towns expanding on our islands?
Yes.
I just sit back and that just jerked me. You know what I mean? Like every island you go on, there's a shanty town problem. There's an illegal problem. There's new person coming in. There's guys without work permit and they ain't working. Like what it is we doing in this country, man. That's it. I just sit back and that shocked me. I hear everything what everybody complaining about. But reality based on is the problem that we're talking about, that thing growing, and it's growing into a massive, massive problem. You know what I mean? I get everything what everybody's saying, but I sitting back, and as I watch every community, you go in Eleuthera, there's a problem. You go in Bra Island, there's a problem. You go in Andres, there's a problem. You know what I mean? And I ain't even talking about the radio hosts them who trying to keep people them awoke on what's going on. I ain't hearing nothing from the protectors who supposed to be protecting this land from being invaded or whatever. You ain't hearing nothing from these people. It's like nothing going on. It's like the Bahamas only running, to me, we running a lawless place, regardless of how they make it sound. I feel like whatever laws they bring back, Miss Malcolm, they throwing it on citizens like me and you. It ain't made for those other set of people. It's like the light bill going up, this tax going up. You got to regulate this. You got to do this. All of the taxes only made for, to me, like the law-abiding citizen. But I ain't hearing, Professor, God bless your heart, big up to you, big up to Michelle Malcolm, then everybody else would bring in awareness. But I saying, dig yourself out of that and look at the problem with around that. And then now you see the voice notes what's going on from the descendants, from these people saying they and their mothers and fathers and stuff like that. What do that mean? Do you ever once hear anybody get stripped from their citizenship in this country? Name me one, please, and I'll wait. You ever hear like the pastors them how they billing inside people's property and the property is getting, that's disgusting, man. You catch what I'm trying to say? And there's and I speaking for me as a young man, there's an underbelly, what we call a dome, growing inside here, where the tensions them getting so taut that this side and that side, starting when they go outside, they starting their own little war. And anybody can tell you that, who from the street. But when you listening to the radio station, we get it. What I'm saying is, the leaders, the people within the house and stuff like that, it's like they talking about the people business. But you ain't hearing nothing about these towns with growing. And if you take a picture, somebody put up a picture of Haiti and put up a picture of Abaco and say, pick which one is the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. And do you know 70% people get it wrong? Because it looks the same. And if you telling your people them, okay, you have love for me, right? But you ain't protecting me, right? Our country is not known for violence and known for overthrowing and we ain't known for that. Call the Bahamas what it is. These peace-loving people would follow the laws. But the other side is known for coup, violence, burning up people, shooting, murder, every other thing. Why you choose these people to come in here? You catch what I'm trying to say? And for the love of God to me, would somebody do something with them towns? Because I didn't know they spread to the Bahamas like that. And if I was a young fella and I got to fight the fight with Pinland them league, you think that's right on me? You think that's right on me? I should go there and lift something what I never lift. But y'all really think that's right on me? Professor King, love you to death for opening up our eyes for the Constitution. But there's something brewing out there which y'all ain't talking about. And our leaders is not protecting us. Miss Malcolm, there's not protecting us. And there you got the man who was talking to Lincoln being walk off with a gun. He put a gun in his waist. For what? We known as a country would do that, tote barrels and things like that. Come on, man. And like I say, again, I keep saying, who is protecting us? There's no leader and there's no opposition that is walking around. Lincoln Bean could do all of that, but he still don't have the power to say to make something out. You need to bring somebody from anywhere to sit down with you to find out how you can stop this. There's no shantytown, the dorms. They run through Bahamian dorms to say because it was Molly. Okay, if the dorms was Molly, and you have on this side where they don't have no bathroom, shower, electricity, and stuff like that, which is worse? Something going on and something ain't right. I ain't calling nobody no Haitians. I ain't throwing around no name, but I ain't stupid. I could see something is not right. And they children trying to fight Bahamian children, if y'all don't want to say it, because they feel like we do something to their mother and fathers them and stuff like that. They feel we do something to them, so they got this little anguish inside of them. So a lot of you to believe it, it's split like how you see the PLP and FNM, no matter right or wrong, they be fighting. That's how it split, Haitians and Bahamians. And who caused that? The older ones. Now we sitting back, me, 27-year-old, been in a little scuffle with a Haitian fella talking a bunch of BS to us like that. That's what y'all ain't seeing. That's what y'all ain't seeing. Our struggle is different from your own. Community basis, Mr. The man was doing the Constitution show, I remember your name. That's all well and good. But if neighbors scared to talk to neighbors and this one going on and this one, that's hard to do. I feel where you coming from, but I showing you reality. Look at the towns were being built. And it ain't only in Nassau, and it ain't only in Abaco. It's spreading. Who's supposed to protect us? I only ask the question, who's supposed to protect us? This is, label of, oh, you hate this person, or you hate this person. These Bahamians, if you have love for Bahamians, they have to do something. And if they ain't talking about it, they don't care about it. And one day, see, they kids and stuff ain't gonna be here. They gonna be off to school. Me, a 27-year-old man, see the fight I have in the front of me. I might not make it. Shots getting licked in the air because we's just Bahamians. I'm talking about all y'all hate Haitian and things like that. Where I come from? I come from no type of surroundings like that. I refuse to go into that. But I ain't gonna let nobody walk up on me and take my life because we got people who's supposed to be protecting our borders ain't doing nothing, letting people would come in who I don't know, who I don't understand, don't want to understand. I ain't into that type of life and got a family to drive. The only thing I can do what's necessary to get rid of that if I living around that. That's the reality on the ground. I didn't want to call, but I try to keep it real. I hear what you're saying, Professor, but it's not reality on the ground because people is not going to really follow that pattern. I take it from a young man who'd been in it last night. Just last night. Violence. That's all I'm saying. Who protected me? Who got love for me, man? And I don't hear nobody talking about it. And then when Lincoln Bay going into this town, and this town, they only growing. If you saying you was in a part of the British colonial, you can't renounce, then who ain't supposed to fall in that category? You can't have love for them because they come into the country illegal, they steal, they breaking every law, and then you want to protect that? No. Make an example of that. And who follow under that, let them go. And I don't care how long they've been here and what family, they make an example of it. That's all we ask, you know. And everybody will fall in line. But if we don't see that, then we have to fight their children and their grandchildren. That's what the burden you all put on us. You all never left for gun, but now we have to.
Wow.
I leave you on that, man.
Thank you for calling. By the way, I want everybody to tune into tomorrow's show. My guest will be former Minister of State for Immigration, Granville McCartney. And for those of you who know anything about Brand's history, when he sat in the seat, he was one of those ministers who tried to clamp down on this problem and was, for all intents and purposes, told to stop. Was told to stand down. So he's going to be the guest on the show tomorrow. And caller, for the record, I hear your frustration and I'm with you on it. And, I'm hoping that Brand will come with a perspective tomorrow that could help us to see our way through this, because it is a problem. We could act all we want like this is not a crisis, like one politician said recently, and I'm trying to figure out which Bahamas you live in.
Yes.
If you can't see we in a crisis,
big crisis,
then something wrong with your eye.
And
it is a major problem.
Yes, it is.
And for us to, I'm happy that the young man is tuned in, and I'm happy that he felt the necessity to call in and express his frustration, because he's not the only one. There's a lot of people out there who feel exactly the way he does. And we are and have been a peaceful people. But we have a generation coming up right now that feels the way he does. Let's be real. And we important people in this country who historically come from a culture of violence and have a propensity for blood. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Miss Malcolm and the professor.
Good afternoon.
I guess what we need is more people like Lincoln Bain. Maybe if the professor could put his group together too and see what we could do all together and go to different communities and pull everybody together and see how much we could pull together and try, override the government or do something with the government to let them know we ain't allowing this in the country no more. Something got to stop.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much.
Let me just respond to the two callers that called in, particularly the gentleman who is frustrated. I believe he called an earlier show.
Yes, he did.
Yes. And see, I want him to take that frustration that he has, and what the lady said is positive. Okay, because there are things we can do in an organized constitutional fashion, because the Constitution allows you a lot of freedom, a lot of liberty. But if we get so heated up and so disturbed over what some other people are not doing, we're not concentrating on what we ought to be doing. The government of the Bahamas is responsible for protecting the interests of the Bahamian people. And if I'm listening to the gentleman, and I heard him very clearly, he feels the government's not doing that. agencies of the state is not doing that. He see an invasion of people coming into this country. People who don't even speak our language. And he feels that the Bahamian is being pushed out. And not only him feels it, but a lot of others feel that way. You see why we need to enforce Article 24.1? Like the lady came back and said. It's people coming together, organizing themselves. See, the key thing is to be organized. We're not organized constitutionally in these constituencies. We're not. While people may have their differences and their views, that's fine. Just like you go to wake the BDC. But then you also go to St. Barnabas Church, and others who go to BDC go to other churches. But yet when they come to BDC, they do BDC wake. What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us on the ground in the community, in the constituency? What has happened to us? Sane people. What's wrong with us? How come we can't see that we need, and the Constitution specifically says that you have to organize to protect your interests. Do you have an interest to protect? Yes or no? But then if you don't have an interest, then you continue doing what you're doing now. Because you find the marches ain't working. 50 people going down Bay Street with placards. That's not working. The Bahamian people have to ask themselves, what is it do you want to do? We haven't answered that. And we are not organized constitutionally on the ground. There's some work that we have to do. Bahamians, if you want change, we have to wait for this. I'm prepared to wait. If you don't know how to organize yourselves, I'll come and help you to be organized. I want to see change. It's no point in me coming here every Monday and speaking these things to you, which are constitutionally sound, and you do nothing with it. That doesn't make any sense to me. And you got to stop being afraid. What are you afraid of? The Constitution gives you lots of latitudes of freedom. Now, there are some people who are trying to frighten you and get you scared, get you to keep quiet. Oh, I can't say this, I can't say that. The Constitution gives you the right to protect your interests. And I'm sure the young man has a right to protect his interests. I understand his concern. I want to take that same energy, what he got, and the others who have that same kind of energy, let's turn that into a positive spin for the advancement of the country called the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have always been a peaceful nation. Why do we want to change that? We have had successful changes from 1729 right on up to now, to the last election we had, the most peaceful one that we ever had in this country was 2021.
But young people like him feel that we could have as much peaceful election as we want, but it's not bringing any kind of real change, except for the people who sit on what side of the House of Assembly.
Let me just say this, we are sending the wrong people in. That's where you got to organize on the ground in your constituency. See, the more you are organized to discuss these things, to look objectively at what we have, we know the crap we've been doing, it ain't working. You're hanging on to certain entities that are not in your best interest. Why are you doing that? Why are you electing people who do not care anything about you? Why? Why are you doing that? Does that make any sense? You've seen the evidence, and yet you still go back and you do the same nonsense over and over again. Why? We have to ask ourselves that. And then we got to think about it and say, why are we doing it? Is there anything we can do better? Yes, we can. Because you don't have, let me just say this. You can be a member of a political party. You do not have to vote for the candidate of that political party. Let me repeat that. You can be a member of a political party or a follower of a political party. The candidate mightn't be worth anything. But yet you go right out there and vote for that particular personality that you know doesn't care anything about you. What are you doing that for? Just because you say you're a follower of that particular political party? Does that make any sense? When it comes to choosing representation, the Constitution has a lot to say about this. This is another aspect of the Constitution that many of our people don't understand. They don't understand what is the purpose of a representative. What is the purpose of the government of the Bahamas? We don't understand these things, but it's already in your Constitution. But you've been following people writing nonsense on pieces of paper, and they say they govern by that. No constitutional soundness, no constitutional basis at all. Then you get vexed because the very same people you trusted in, you relied on, you depended on, let you down. And then you turn around and say, what we can do? Bahamians, you got to choose wisely. You have to be more discerning when it comes to choosing people to do your national affairs. We made a mess of it for the last 50 years. Why would it take 50 years? We see what has been going on the ground. We did not organize ourselves to do anything about it. And today, as I speak to you right now, we're not there yet. But we have to get there, Bahamians. We just can't keep sitting down day after day after day after day complaining.
Okay, we have to take a break. Before we go to the break, let me read a couple of your comments. Yes. Let's see. Bertha says, Spanish Wells people ain't allowing the Haitians to build no more illegal shanty towns over there. They have a committee who's responsible for tearing them down immediately when the huts going up. William says they are also building an army and are the security guards over a lot of property in this country. They are teaching the children self-defense, and are preparing for us. What are we doing but sitting and watching? Shanika says he is passionate, talking about the young man who called. He's passionate because he lives it on a daily basis. He's angry and hurt. He, like a lot of Bahamians, feels slighted. Richard says, Miss Malcolm, that young man who called in That young man who called in is speaking with passion, and that is the word in the inner city communities. That is talk in the communities. And the Professor Thompson is telling the government in a nice way, if you follow the Bahamas Constitution, you can eliminate many of the problems in the country. Another one says, they aren't peaceful people, so you must fight power with power or die. Then we have another message from Shanika who says, we may need to change that because it has gotten way worse. We weren't in a crisis before. We were never at war with our own Bahamian government. Okay.
No, that may very well be, and I'm not going to dispute that. What I am saying is we have allowed the government of the Bahamas to act so loosely. We never challenge anything that they have done. Bahamians, you got to challenge the government of the day. When you see them going contrary to your Constitution, you just can't sit back and do nothing.
So
They're
how
going to say that's what you like.
Do you challenge them?
You have to be organized.
Right, we got that.
Now, once you're organized, then you have to understand that it takes the collective will of a people to determine a course of action you're going to take. That's not one person's decision. It takes the that's why I keep saying we've got to get our people together. See, the lady said it when she called in on the show. She said it, and I agree with her. The people coming together. You don't see the marches ain't working. You don't see the demonstrations not working. I asked the question, Bahamians, what is it you're prepared to do? That question has never been answered. But the point is we got to think about these things. People are frustrated, yes, because they see a lot of pressure being put on them. There are those in our country who are trying to get the Bahamian people to become violent. That's all they know. And the authorities, the ones you elected to do your national business, are being negligent in the responsibility of protecting the interests of the Bahamian people. That's the crux of the problem, Bahamians. We have to be careful. Let me make this point, Ms. Malcolm. We have to be careful who we choose to do our national business. We've been very careless with it for too long. And so they take advantage of you because they believe you can't do no better. And that's what has been happening.
All right, let me read a comment and then we're going to go to a break. Well, two comments. These are both coming in by way of WhatsApp. It says, all respect to the professor, but I do not think he is the one to show us how to move forward. He is doing his part. Militant 21st century thinkers and leaders are what we need, and they will soon arise. Another one says, you had McCartney on before, but fish stinks from the head. You need the PM on your show. If he on tape inviting the Haitians to come here, right? We need answers from him.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is your supreme law. If we are a nation of laws, then that's what we ought to be going by. Okay? Now, when we move away from that, we're asking for plenty of trouble.
We got to take a break, Professor, so don't go no further.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we will continue our conversation with Professor Thompson. This is GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson discussing, we're supposed to be discussing the Constitution. And I guess sort of an indirect way we are talking about what they are. Yeah. Now, I want to read a couple of your comments before we dive back in. This one is coming in by way of WhatsApp. It says, Michelle, I truly do appreciate your show, and I appreciate you because your chosen topic is so relevant today. And I agree with your guests, but I believe that desperate times call for desperate measures. However, we as Bahamians want change, but don't want to fight for it. We just sit back and watch things, complain about it, but when the opportunity comes to rise up, they run and hide behind the curtains. We are so afraid of the men and women we elected to serve us, make decisions for us. We give them the power to oppress us. Until we are willing to stand for our country and show the government that they are there to serve us, the people, and not themselves, they will continue to rape, rob, and pull train on our country and its people because they can, because it is being allowed by our people. So the people need to be ready to stand for themselves, or we will remain powerless and the government will continue to do what they want. Fair cripples.
Well, there's a lot of merit in what the text has said. I've been saying that all along. It takes the collective will of the people. You don't need to be afraid of any government. Afraid of them for what? You gave them the power, you could take it back.
Okay.
That's the beauty of democracy.
We have a call on the line.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
I always enjoy this Monday's visual.
Thank you.
I want to ask a question. You remember when I think it was Mr. Roker was trying to get a firm hand on the migration issue, and Sir Lyndon Pillen asked him to stand down.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You remember when Bramble McCartney tried to get a firm hand on the situation, and Ingram asked him to stand down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, is there something hovering above us, like a UFO or a UPO or something, that we can only go so far? Maybe we join NATO, and NATO say we have to allow a certain amount of persons in, refugees, blah, blah. I don't know what the treaties are. But is there, Professor, can you lay your thoughts on something that could prevent our leaders from running the country and not allowing the country to be run over, as has always been happening for the past 50 years? It's something that's above us, Professor, outside of the Constitution. I know you talk a lot about the Constitution, but leaders at the tops ask the subordinates when they're doing their job to stand down. What's going on there?
You raise a good point, caller. I appreciate that. But the Constitution is supreme. When you act outside of the Constitution, you're out of authority. It's just as simple as that. We're a sovereign, independent nation. You just have the wrong set of people running your national affairs. That
means they're afraid. We have people who are afraid. These people, basically, what you're saying is we have people who are afraid. to do what they're supposed to do.
The Bahamian people have never challenged the government of the Bahamas for the things it does to us over the last 50 years. We've allowed them. Hold on, caller.
Okay.
We have allowed them to do what they have been doing all along. Now we come to see a whole lot of things went down, which was not in our best interest. And it's going to take Article 24.1 has to kick in. That's in your Constitution. That last phrase of Article 24.1, which I've been saying to the Bahamian people for years. Not just today. It's been there. It hasn't changed. But we haven't acted on it.
Well, I mean, obviously, we may not be acting on it because the message is not strong enough in it. It's not written in such a way that it says it's a life or death situation when you come to this point. Are we at a point now where our country is going to be taken from us because we're not executing a certain article in the Constitution as a collectorate? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying to you, sir, is the Bahamian people have the authority in their hand to do something about what we are faced with today. If an administration is in power that is not acting in our best interest, the Bahamian people will do something about it. That's in
what do you do? What do you do as a collectorate, and how do you get the collectorate to have the mindset to move in doing that? Because right now, I'm looking at right now in the United States, you have a guy who's going to be president while he's in prison because the Constitution affords it to happen. And it looks like they're going to elect him to do that. It looks like the people want to suffer and to be run over.
I don't know about the United States, and I think I know what you're referring to. But I will say this. See, in our country, because for more than 50 years, this Constitution was never taught to its people. That is a sad, sad state of affairs. But we just can't keep harping on that.
Okay.
We know that has happened. The people woke up when the Queen passed off the scene and Prince Charles went on the throne. Internal pressures, external pressures caused the Bahamian people to look around and say, is there something else that we missed? So people want answers. They want solutions.
Could I say something to you, sir?
Go ahead.
If every child, when they come into this world, were introduced to the Forex market and how to master it, they wouldn't need to look up at a politician's face. They wouldn't need to worry about the Constitution. They could go and live in any country and enjoy life and live freely. We seem to be bound by these constraints with this Constitution and this government. If you knew how to trade and just enjoy life, because there's $7 trillion moving our heads every day. Nobody talking about it. We're talking about a Constitution. Why don't you tap into the money to liberate you? Because these people come in here to take your place and push you out.
Sir, everything has to be by law and order. Okay? That's how countries ought to be operating. You're going to have chaos when there's no law and order. And I don't think we want to see that in the Bahamas.
Boy, I hope that you could figure something out, because you seem to be the one talking about a lot of stuff that need to be materialized, but I don't see the action.
The Constitution is your answer. It takes people to understand what their rights, their freedoms, their privileges are. You just can't have people doing any and everything. Is that what you want?
Is it more important than the Bible? Because the Bible says things that contradicts in the Constitution. Is the Bible more important than the Constitution? Because some people feel as though the Bible is more important. Maybe the reason why we are where we are is because we follow the wrong Constitution.
So we only have one Constitution. That's the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the right Constitution.
Okay.
And that is what we ought to be following. If we have people in power who don't want to follow it, then the Bahamian people have a course of action to take to deal with such people. Why are we not getting to understand that point?
What is the action? What do we do? Step one, step two.
You know, I've been discussing this all during the show. You know, you just tune into the show?
I just tuned in because I was reading the wrong Constitution. It's called BIBLE. I need to read this other one.
Well, you need to listen some more, man.
Okay, man. Thanks.
But just continue to listen. You will get it.
All right.
Caller, you can always go back to YouTube or
can go back
Facebook and listen to the show in its entirety. Okay, I want to read a comment from one of our Facebook viewers. And this person has a very, very valid point.
Yes.
The person says, we need to stop filling up Bay Street for Junkanoo and do it for organic Bahamian survival. Those people got the okay from Brave and Keith Bell to be here, so it's up to the Bahamians now. Now, here's what I want to take away from that.
Mm-hmm.
If we were calling for a big celebration, a big Junkanoo celebration, or some other big party, everybody get together for music and dancing and a couple of beers and, free t-shirt and conch fritter and big party. Man, you ain't gonna ask people twice to come out for that. Everybody partying. Everybody willing to come out for that. So how do we get people to see the urgency of this and get them to come together in those kinds of numbers for this, as opposed to just looking for another way to shake their leg?
No, I understand what you're saying. See, people want a temporary thrill. When it comes to running a nation and solving problems, that's not a temporary thrill. What I am suggesting to the Bahamian people today, which is constitutionally sound, requires work. Requires serious, hard work. It is not for the faint-hearted. Now we have to face harsh reality. It's going to require hard work, commitment, dedication. See, the Constitution talks about a national commitment to do some things. That's the way we're supposed to be running this place. And you cannot have a place that is completely out of whack, everybody doing and acting as they please. If you have an administration in power that is not following the Constitution, then the people have every right to take appropriate action against that government. And one of the things I said we must do, we have to be organized on the ground in each of those constituencies. Because the Constitution has the country divided into 39 constituencies. And it's going to take the collective will of the people to determine what course of action we're prepared to take. Because we found out the things that people have been organizing over these many years ain't working. But no one has ever said, the Bahamian people have never said publicly what it is they want to do. You are having a few people, and I think it's not fair to them. They want to do something. You see it's not working. I see it's not working. You haven't said, you know something? Here is what we can do to make it work. It requires discussion. It requires coming together. Just like the lady said in the show. You see, we're not listening to what it is we ought to be doing. We're watching what others are doing and what we think others ought to do, instead of us looking at the issue and say, here's some things we have to do. And one thing we must do is we got to be able to get on well with each other. There's so much fragmentation in the country, in these various communities, particularly in the Black Belt communities.
Okay, I have a question for you. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Mr. Thompson.
Hey, what's
Professor.
up? Yeah, what's today?
I think I spoke to you about 3 years ago. Now, the Constitution is so important. Could you tell me how far you get in terms of trying to get the Constitution on a CD form?
A CD form?
Yes. Because ain't much people going to the store or going online to go purchase no book or to go online.
You don't have to purchase it. It's available. You could just download it right on your smart device.
That's okay. Yeah, it's free. And, yes, it's free. And you know, they're not interested in doing it. I don't know why. But I was asking Mr. Thompson, I told him, but that 3 years ago, how far he said he's supposed to talk to some of his
trying to see how best he could try to wake on that. I just calling to find out how far he gets with that.
Maybe you did, I'm not going to say you didn't. Because some people have mentioned a number of suggested things to me. And there are a number of people I have to discuss things with to get their consensus, their views on it. See, like I said, it takes the collective will of the people. Here's something you need to understand. See, this Constitution is so strange to the vast majority of Bahamian people. Some things you got to repeat repeatedly over and over again, particularly some basic, fundamental things that the people ought to do. Like I said to them, start right on your street. Start right, the person living next door to you. Go and talk to them.
Okay, Professor, I want to read something. Michelle, I believe the caller wants the professor to give the first step. Stop saying get organized. We get that. What's the steps? Now, during the break, you and I were talking, and you said that
if you'd like to make a call,
you said that the legal way that I mentioned early in the show about the same way they went to the Privy Council before.
That is one course of
That's
action
just
you can
one
take.
course of action. So in
Right.
other words, that's not the only course of
That's
action.
not the only course of action.
Okay. We only got 3 minutes left in the show. Give us another course, just one more, another course of action. Let's say we've done everything you've said. We've come together as a community. We've decided what the common causes that we want to fight. What is one other course of action we can now
Then
take?
you have to put pressure on the
How?
current administration.
How do we
Okay?
put pressure on them?
The thing is, our Constitution says you work through your representative. That's constitutional. Now, if he ain't listening to you, that's another kettle of fish. If the government isn't listening to you, that's another kettle of fish. But that's how your Constitution is set up. It's constitutional government. You have to say to your representative, to your government, we are unhappy with the way you're running things. And we have to tell them that in very strong language. That is what the Bahamian people have to do. It's an elected government. Now, if they decide they're not listening to you, then you have to take another course of action.
Which is, we got 1 minute left.
Okay? Which simply means you're going to have to replace that government. And I mentioned earlier in the show that we have not been making good choices in choosing the persons to run our national affairs.
So how do they replace that government prior to the prime minister calling an election?
Well, you can put enough pressure on him, he'll call it. He'll be forced to call it. Are we ready for that? That's how you do it, Miss Malcolm. You ain't waiting for him to call it. We see the urgency of it being done. We put enough pressure on him and his government.
What kind
He'll
of
have no
pressure,
other
though,
choice to
Professor?
do
What
it.
kind of pressure? When you say pressure, what do you mean?
I mean, you've got to compel him and compel his government to take the necessary action that you desire to have. You put enough pressure, you put enough heat on them, they'll get the message. We have never done that in this country. We've been happy-go-lucky people. So they take for granted. See, even when you begin to put the pressure, you know what they can do? They can defy you. Say, okay, no problem. Then you got to show them that you mean exactly what you say. Because they've been getting away with it so long.
We only have 1 minute left, so we got to wrap this up. Next week, God willing, I need you to be very specific and very clear about how do you put pressure on a government without picking up arms, without pulling a coup, and considering that we would have done everything that you've said repeatedly that we need to do, be organized, come together, find out what we want collectively. Let's just say we've done all of that. Now, what do we do to put pressure on this government if they still ain't hearing us? That's the question I need. I need you to make it plain that a 6-year-old could understand.
No problem.
Okay, next week, God willing, He spare our lives, and we will be back here. Because it's all the people trying to find out, you know. This is what they're trying to say. They trying to say, okay, we done hear everything what you done say. but we want some very specific guidelines.
That is why you need to know your Constitution, Ms. Malcolm. The Constitution has the answers in it. That's what people fail to understand. You act constitutionally, and I'll go into more depth into that because there are some other things about governance which I didn't get to cover in
Let's
the show.
cover them then, because that's what people are trying to find out. What can you tell me? Put pressure on the government, but I need to know how to do that.
Yes, you can put a hell of a lot of pressure.
So
on
let's
them.
talk about that. But it's 4:01.
Either-
We gotta go. We ain't got time to go into it right now. It's 4:01. I done a minute past my time.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to thank you, Professor, for being here today. God willing, we'll both be back next week, Monday. Next week, Monday, and we'll talk about.
Next Monday's holiday, is that it?
Oh yeah, next week is August Monday,
August
first Monday in the
So the
month.
following Monday.
Yeah, God
We'll be
willing.
back.
God willing. Hopefully we'll be back.
Okay.
But definitely tune into the show tomorrow, and if the Lord leads, call, and let's talk about it while Brandon McCartney will be on the show. And I see a couple of y'all saying, "Why you only get Office Roker? Y'all think I've been trying? Y'all think this is easy sitting in this seat?"
It's not. Tell him it's not.
Anyhow, I go on. I can see you all tomorrow. Though, Mr. Bar Show's got to be hot. Take care, everybody.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinion.